Golf, in its purest form, is a rather elementary game. Whack a ball with a club. Try to get that ball in a hole in as few as whacks as possible, then move on to the next test, and the next, until you've completed 9 or 18 of them. It's a simple concept that's been at the game's core for hundreds of years, but one that's of course always been incredibly difficult to execute with great success. What has changed over the years, outside of, the clothes, the equipment, the cost, and the absurd length of golf courses, is a reliance on individual stroke play. Years ago that wasn't always the case, but in the modern era, at the pro level, it's the format that's filled the trophy cases of the game's greats. Palmer, Nicklaus, Lopez, Sorenstam, Woods. But recently, and not coincidentally coinciding with Tiger's prolonged absence from competition, powers that be are worried golf's popularity is in a lull, and that participation is dwindling as a result. Everybody seems to be looking for an answer to get the game growing. Faster play, bigger holes, better clubs, even golf boards and golf bikes to get around courses in a more exhilarating fashion, with all ideas aimed at making golf more fun. And now the European Tour and PGA Tour have answered the call too, introducing different formats at a select few events. How have players welcomed such change?
I like it. I think 72-hole stroke play is kind of the standard, but it might not necessarily be like the most enjoyable to watch, and at the end of the day, we're an entertainment product. People pay to come watch us do what we do, right? And if we can every now and then provide something that's different and maybe a bit more interesting, I think that's a really good thing.
There's only 1 or 2 events here or there, but I think it's a fun way to change it up. I don't think it's something you want to start doing every week, but it's definitely, 1 or 2 or 3 events a year where they do something like that. I think it's fun.
The European Tour's Golf Sixes event in May featured 2-man teams from 16 countries pitted in match play. Greensomes was the name of the format used, as both players hit tee shots on each hole, with the best one selected and alternate shot played from that point in.
Congratulations, Denmark.
Meanwhile, in New Orleans, the Zurich Classic became the first tournament in over 35 years on the PGA Tour to use a team format, with duos paired in a stroke play competition. The teams played foursomes or alternate shot on Thursday and Saturday, and 4-ball or better ball on Friday and Sunday. The players loved it, the fans loved it, and it led to an exciting playoff finish.
To have a little team event every once in a while kind of brings me back to college a little bit. It's just, with such an individual sport, it's kind of fun to have a team aspect every once in a while.
That's the one thing I miss about playing golf at Georgia is being on a team. And I think anytime you can switch the format up a couple times a year, I think that makes it fun. And I think it's good for the game.
But the European Tour, led by Canadian Keith Pelley, didn't stop with just the unique format at Golf Sixes. It incorporated a shot clock into play, with anyone failing to hit within 40 seconds receiving a 1-stroke penalty. It also featured players arriving to the first tee to music and pyrotechnics, giant TV screens beside tees and greens, and stadium seating throughout. And back in November, the Euro Tour's Hero Challenge featured stars competing in an exhibition round of night golf.
I think you'll probably see more of it. I think more sponsors might say, hey, if they can do that, maybe we can do it, and change things up. I think the fans will have a good time seeing team play in a regular PGA Tour competition setting. It says that we're just trying to do whatever the sponsors would like to see.
We do the same thing week in and week out every week, and so for us to be able to have a teammate, a partner, someone to kind of rely on as well as push to play better, it makes it fun for us. So I think the more we can do that, the better.
The goal of these new formats is to attract fans and showcase golf as more versatile than simply 18-hole stroke play, perhaps even to get you to mix things up at your home club. However, there is something to be said about the tradition and success of stroke play, which most believe remains the best format for deciding a week's best player. So despite the positive feedback from fans and tour members, there are players who think a line needs to be drawn as to how far outside the box the pro game gets.
The 6-play match play I think was a little, almost extreme, but hey, it's a way to speed it up, maybe a little more risk reward off of guys on the golf course.
If nothing more, these formats have given tournaments more attention, which is always a good thing for their title sponsors. You can therefore expect to see tours continue to spice things up a little more down the road, though it's also a good bet that individual stroke play will always rule the day.